maneuvering. Can you guys hear us now?
Can you hear us now? Can you hear us now? Can you hear us now?
Oh my God, this is annoying. Can you guys hear us now? Here we are.
Hey! Can you? When you hear us?
Yes, we're back. Hey, there we go. Hello. I'm so happy. So, all right. Whew. So we do apologize for that, but we are back and we are in effect. So, wow. So what we were talking about earlier, which you did not hear anything of, I'm sure. So we do apologize, is that Lou is one of the most amazing people you'll ever meet.
What? No, that's not what we were.
That's what I was talking about.
That's not what we were talking about.
He's so amazing, guys. Super duper amazing, cool dude. Raise him up because he's awesome. Much props.
Car guys, you know what it is that you're supposed to do. Ultimately, in the end, and at the beginning,
that's what we need to do.
You are encouraged to on 3, forgive, focus, fly. You saw us practice
it
in silence, but sometimes silence can be so deafening. It's exciting to be able to fly with people that are ready to go to the depths of hearing the things that only those that get far enough.
Deafening. You know, silence and deafening is the same thing. So
right?
You meant to say silence could be so loud.
No, it could be deafening. It could be so strong that it impacts your ability.
It makes you deaf.
Hear. Yeah. You know,
man,
like something that's so loud. You know what I mean? But
so I'm in a goofy mood right now.
We're gonna do this on 3. 1, 2, 3. Forgive, focus, fly.
That's right. You know what's up. Yes, man.
So, Jason, hopefully you can stop back in here. Joey, again, love you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, man. Always.
Holy cannolis, Batman. We said so much. So
I know. So I'm trying to recap. So what we recapped on was this week. You know, we're dropping a great brew. It's yesterday. If you guys didn't hear us, was our second highest ever viewership download on our podcast ever. Amazing, just in one day. Now, obviously, our new brew with Melanie has a lot to contribute to it, but we also had it spread across all of our sounds. So it sounds like people were going back and listening to our show. So thank you very much for listening even to our older brews that we've put out there, like people like Jason's. I saw his peaked up a little bit, all the way down to everybody else's that's been on the show. I mean, I think it was like a little bit of everybody, but it was a huge day for us. So we do appreciate that. We're been in constant growth mode, and it's really cool to see it constantly just getting there. Like boom, boom, we keep spiking up these numbers, and it's really cool. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And that's right.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being supportive in any way.
Man. It's always
at
awesome.
all, for giving us a like, for giving us a share, for just giving us an encouraging word. Telling us how it's helped you is always the greatest treasure that we get out of anything that we're actually putting out here with you all. What we brew together and what we get to share victory in is really the whole reason why we do anything that we're doing right here. We have a lot we want to share with you, and we know that you have a lot to share with us. So if I can maybe echo some of what was said earlier, there's something great in all of you to bring to this table, and you're trusted with great, valuable information. And what is amazing is that you're the only one that has what you bring to the table. And we want to be able to highlight that. We want to be able to give you the platform to share your great news, always sharing your great news. There's great victories out there. And if people can see the great victories that are out there and hear the stories, rather than hearing the scary events, but they can hear the stories of victory, which are you that are listening or watching. Many of you are the stories of victory that somebody needs to hear. You may not see it very valuable, but somebody that needs to get to where you are is dreaming for somebody to open the gate to show them how to do it, right? And we want to give you the chance to come and do that.
Yes.
And tell everybody how awesome that is, and with a full complete, genuine heart to say, man, this is all a great brew. Everybody here, share this, because we're always considering what's next. Who's the next great person we can speak with that can be beneficial to everybody that's listening and watching? Who is it?
We got a stable of them right now. I can't help it. Next week is going to be Tom
Speaking
Maoli,
next.
Mr. Go Big or Go Home himself. I mean, man, you guys don't understand how much fun it has been for us. You know, it's been work, but man, the fun outweighs the work so much that it's just been amazing. We've met and talked to people that have just done things with their lives that are just like so influential, so positive. They show you what risk versus risk that comes with the reward that you get from risks that you take. You know, they also tell you about the stories that were not good, but what they learned from those things. And it keeps empowering you. I mean, it empowers me. It keeps you thinking. Think about this, folks. If you're the kind of person that says, man, I always do the right thing and I'm always working hard, but I just haven't caught my break yet, it's going to happen. People are so worried, oh, I got to do it in my 20s. I got to do it it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. Just keep doing what you're doing. And one day it's going to happen, but you have to just really look inside yourself and be honest with yourself. Am I really doing everything I can? Right? Because a lot of people say it, but they don't really do it. I mean, I see salespeople who always said, oh man, I tried all month. I know they did not. I'm talking about even when I was on the floor. I'm not even talking about my team that works with me right now. I'm talking about in the past. I've seen people on the floor just make excuse after excuse of why they weren't moving units. And all the difference was they just weren't putting in the work that they should have been putting in, having the attitude of I'm here to do my thing. But you can have fun, man. People don't understand. You can have fun doing it. Trust me. But you have to work and you have to do the thing. Work should not be a bad word. I know it sounds like a bad word. You have to do your thing. You have to, if you want to call it, you have to do your thing.
It's a must.
You got to knock it out.
Yeah, it's a must.
You got to just make goals for yourself and you got to set those goals and you got to reach for them. You got to remember that there's little victories before the big victory, you know, just like a war. When you're in war, if you go back to just history, there was never a war that was won like the first day. It took a multitude of these little battles that they won and they did this and all of a sudden they completely surrendered, right? You had too many generals, like, you know, 3 of the 4 generals all gave up. Yeah, of course, the 4th one's throwing the white flag and he has no backup anymore. He's got all these people against him. So that's kind of the idea, you know. So make sure you make that work, man. Work hard, do your thing, and build your team, build your army.
Build them.
Love your army. Trust your army. But make sure you put people in that army that are qualified for that army. You know, don't just throw bodies on the floor, you know. You have to find whatever ingredient that it is that's going to work for your process that you have at your store. You know, some stores need a guy who's good at catching lot ups. Some guys need a person who's good at catching phone pops. I mean, or somebody who's good at outbound calls and inbound calls, or somebody who's just, you know, good at looking nice in a suit and showing somebody a luxury, you know, Bentley. Whatever it is, you find that person, that type of ingredient that they have, and you make it your thing. Because not a guy who pushes BMWs most likely is not going to do well in a pre-owned world that sells, you know, like Nissans and you know, no knocking those cars, they're wonderful, but just imagine the mindset, you know, the difference.
I can't say that I would ever want anybody to not think that they couldn't make the transition to go from, if they were in a BMW store, you know, like there's some people that get transplanted.
I'm not saying
like,
they couldn't make transition.
Like they can make the jump over. But I completely know what you're saying. You have to come in there
find the people that fit your process, right,
of where it is that you're at, and who your customer is. Absolutely. And what the theme of your dealership ultimately is, right? You know, our dealership is the people. We look and feel and walk amongst, you know, the people, and that's what we represent for the people, right? And we're constantly making sure that we shift the way that we present ourselves for the people. And so I love how flexible we actually are inside of our approach to being able to do uniforms. You know, it used to be as sterile as any other situation would be, where, you know, it's very corporate. But we've been able to be very almost borderline, I guess the word would be flamboyant in the way that we can look. Like we can be making sure that we're putting on the full show in character.
I mean, you can be flamboyant, but let's be honest. How many people really are flamboyant when they come to work?
Not many,
As much as
but it becomes okay to put it in theme. So right, we'll come into work, in full theme for different theme days at work.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
like
absolutely
that, I mean?
yeah. People
And so
we'll even put competitions out there because it's fun. Make it fun.
Some of our shirts would be stuff that would not necessarily be like considered a work shirt. You know what I mean?
No,
but that would be almost standard uniform for a while to make sure that we're building the team atmosphere. So that's ultimately what we bring to our floor is a team atmosphere. You're always going to look like you're someone of a coach.
Go even deeper than that. Yes, you do look like a coach, but you come in and we bring almost like a community atmosphere. Like what I mean is we look like our community. We dress like our community.
Exactly.
You feel, so when people come in, they'll see a salesman rocking a pair of like J's and he's wearing like a nice polo shirt and he's rocking, whatever. It looks clean. It feels good. Or he could come in, see a dude rocking a pair of Adidas. Like, okay, I'm just saying, I look at people's style a lot. It tells you a lot about what they want to purchase too. That's kind of crazy to say, and I don't want to get too deep into psychology, but when somebody walks in, you can tell what their budget is based off of how they like to spend their money. You could tell that if they like nice clothes, most likely they want a nice car and they're okay with bigger payments because they're used to paying more money for even clothes. So to me, it's always the no-brainer on those deals. And I'm not a pane glasser. I sell everybody. I've seen the guy who comes in who could do the same thing, who's got the dirty shirt that's got like chew mark all over it from spitting and missing the ground and hitting his shirt, and then like pants all busted up, and he could buy more things than anybody that walks in.
Right.
And I'm not saying that people who come in dressed nice can actually afford what they want either. Trust and believe. I've seen them with more bad credit looking like that than any other. But what I'm saying is that they're the ones that are like, you tell them, that what they want is $600 a month. They're going to say, okay. They're easy with it because they're used to that. It's kind of like, they're used to having that type of lifestyle and they want that lifestyle. So they hear that's the number. You just tell them it's the number. Did I just get too much into that?
No, rock out. I'm with you.
But I can keep going. Like there's so many ways about looking at the way customers talk, the way they move. But, I don't do it as a way to take advantage of people. I do it as a way of just being able to coexist with them, make them feel comfortable. Understand what their wants are before they even tell me, because that's why I'm a professional at my job. Right. I'm really good at it because I like to, and I don't like to prejudge. It's not a prejudge thing. It's just that I understand the mentality of what people want based off of certain things, gestures, the vehicle they pulled up in, what they asked me for, what they want. You know what I mean? And then you also understand that people who just need help, and you go in there and you help them, and you don't have to go through all that stuff. Then you understand the people who are specific about this is the only vehicle they want, and yet they still want the crazy budget, right? The one that's
and that's where it takes somebody like you to be inside of a dealership that is able to take the person that comes from whatever walk of life, and they believe inside of a brand message that's saying that no matter what the circumstances, give yourself a shot. Give it another shot. It doesn't matter what any dealership has ever said. Give it another shot.
Just come in, let me help.
So that type of
I just want to help, buddy.
That type of character that is putting out that message gets a full response that's branded into the minds of the people that are expecting a certain result from the dealer group. Yeah, what ends up happening is that lands right here at this desk and having a subprime hero present to be able to assemble all of the deals is what it takes to make something like that kind of a hub work out. Yeah. And there's so many of you that have customers that same paper makes it through those dealerships. You know what I mean? We were able to look at the credit and see how many people have actually had access to this customer, and we know have these same banks, Oh, yeah, and because they didn't use their tools fully, that customer left them is with us. And whether if it's at my desk, I'm the subprime hero for that moment. You know Absolutely. What I mean? And you're there getting that many people inside of that environment taken care of, and that's what helps to elevate our niche for the customer that is wanting to give it another shot at getting a full-fledged loan, and something that's really getting them moving in the right direction in a car that they can enjoy Absolutely. And trust. But take subprime heroes, and that's Fred, and
it is. But the clients also want to save time, so they want people who are professionals. So just understand that the better and quicker you can understand what your client wants. So that's basically all I was telling you. You just need to understand your client quicker. So you got to just read them better. The best at the game can find out what people want within the first few questions they ask them. So you just make sure you do that. And then if you have to deviate a little bit, you're okay with that. It's okay. Just help them. The ultimate thing is to look them in the eye and just let them know how bad you want to help and that you want to be that person. And you will literally do whatever it takes, whatever it takes for it to happen, even if it takes too long, we'll help out. But we want to make sure that they save time, man. I'm big about saving time. That's been one of my closes, I guess, for a very long time, is how much that people can save time. Because a lot of people always want to think about things. They want to go do this. They want to look at other vehicles, but why? I tell them this, man, it's factual and actual. You got to make sure that you that you look at vehicles that if you look at them all, you're going to just get too many options. You're going to look at, and they're all so much alike. You don't really know which one's better. Each one has these little features that let me tell you, sometimes you think that a feature that is better on this car than this other one. It's because the other salesperson didn't tell you about that feature that is actually the same thing. So it's really crazy how that can happen. And just because of one person may have gone through their walk around a little bit different than their other person was trained to do their walk around. So then you get a different experience and you're like, man, that car just sounded better. And that's, wow, good thing that thing didn't crack. But when you put a rug underneath this mug, that rhymed.
Oh,
so it's all it. Did it? No. Okay. So obviously you need to give everybody that experience. Let them know, explain that. So kick butt and do your thing, folks. So the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. We are in this new style right here. I really like it. It's a real curve.
So let us know what you think. If you didn't hear us say it earlier. Let us know what you think of it. If you enjoy seeing it on this flow, I think it is way easier. He's in the safe zone, and I think that we should be able to enjoy a little bit more energy right here, where we can stand up and really say what it is that we're saying, and have less things getting knocked around. Right?
We're still in the middle of setup, so it's just nice. We just checking it out tonight. It looks good. I like the camera. I think it looks nice and lined up for you folks.
We can write on the board.
Right,
like use the chalk.
So I don't know what it is that you've done to me. Watch, look. Tell me what I'm getting ready to do right here. I knew because I just did it a minute ago. Oh man, we crack ourselves up, man. I'll tell you. Oh, woo. So, folks, yes, we got part 3 coming out. So, is there? So this is a third part of the
the 5-liner.
And then what else we got?
And then after that is going to be our fresh news.
So is that coming out tomorrow?
No,
tonight.
Okay,
excellent. Wow,
fresh news.
You guys are lucky.
Fresh news on the way.
So lucky.
Fresh news. Will be ready for you Saturday for your fresh Saturday brew. You get the fresh news with Melanie Borden, the Fast Tracker, inside of Volume 3 of the Fast Tracker series on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast.
No, but it's exciting, and then next week, Tom Maioli. And Tom Maioli is
going home.
Whoa, he's the
with so much wisdom. Is tied up inside of the encapsulated person that is a incredible bursting light of energy and positivity everywhere that it is that he goes. You want to be borderline and saying almost like the Midas touch, right? Like what he truly lives out what you would want to say. Whatever you put your hand to will be blessed. He is putting his hand to things and they are blooming. You know what I mean? They're turning into great things, and ultimately because he's pouring a lot of love into everything he does. He's not doing it wrong in any way because he's putting his whole heart into it. And if his whole heart is into it, and with that heart he says, "Go big or go home."
Go big or go home.
Things happen. So that's the type of solutionary that is grabbing the microphone, with the Car Guy Coffee podcast crew. I mean, you're bound to get a jolt inside of your cup.
I mean, he's the owner, CEO of Celebrity Motor Cars, the same company that Melanie's from, that she's the VP of marketing for. Now, huge influence for her. If you guys just listened to last night's or yesterday's brew, which rolled over to today, she talks about that, talks about Tom Maioli being a big influence and also the COO of the company, which she didn't want to name because does not like to have his or her name.
It will not be mentioned
doesn't want it out there. So that's fine. It is what it is, right? So, but that being said, Tom is definitely all about it. He's a lot of fun to talk to. The interview went great. We did it about 2-3 weeks ago, maybe almost 3-4 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been a while. So,
a lot has been happening.
A lot has changed since then in the car world, but at the same time, it was at a time right before they went and they opened up. Actually, they were not even open, like allowing people inside the showroom at that time. And, he talks about that, but he also talks about a few of his new ventures, and I'm not going to spill too many beans about that. But Tom,
a lot of exclusives.
We have some exclusives on that show, and that are still exclusives. That's how new the news is. So be excited to hear about that. Tom is a experienced veteran serial entrepreneur. Seriously, This dude is just amazing. He's touched his hands on so many different businesses and turned things from gold to platinum, things that were bronze to gold.
Come on.
He did so many things with his
things that were touch. Water into coffee.
What? Now, we're not going to talk about water to wine because it's not quite that deep, right? Mm-hmm. But what we are going to talk about is how awesome he is.
Seriously, he's got some coffee stuff going on. But hey, you got to listen, get excited because we'll talk about those things.
It's going to be good, man. Tom Maioli, he's a lot of fun. He's got a lot of great connections. He's a great person to talk to. It's so easy for being and doing what he's done in his life and who he is. He's just like talking to anybody that you would just meet, even just having a drink at the bar. Just say, hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing today? Combo all day, easy to talk to, like open, like not scared to talk about anything, whether it's good or bad. Whatever good things happen in his life, he mentioned it. If it was a bad thing, he mentioned it. But he's a Jersey guy, grew up in New Jersey his whole life, lives there, does business there, and he's just straight up tough guy about it. That's just what he grew up on Hope Street because sorry.
You got it.
See, I'm spilling beans.
We're excited.
Spilling beans. Franks and beans.
If you want to get a free Car Guy coffee mug after the Tom Maioli first piece of his 5-liner comes out, go ahead and message us where it was that he grew up and see if you can remember it till then.
That's right.
You're going to have to listen to it to see that.
Jason says, go big or go home. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's exactly his show that he had on the radio. I'm sure you've heard it since you're up from that area. We had a chance to interview him, Jason. He's an awesome guy to be connected with. We need to talk. Man, Jason, what are you doing after the show? We need to can you talk for a few minutes?
Yes.
Let's make that happen, Jason, man. We need it. We haven't talked for
Jason, jump into this. So. You want to jump in real quick and take us home?
Let's close this thing out.
We are about to.
If you want, man, I'll send you a link, bro.
And launch this next piece of the brew.
Yeah, man. It's so we're up late to edutate. No,
edutain, and edutate. We'll edutate too. Send it to his Facebook. It's coming. It's coming right now, Jason. It's coming. It's coming.
I'm sending it anyway. Just because I want to, dude.
You want to come to the cafe? It's late.
To Messenger.
You need a little pick me up. Jump into the cafe. If anybody wants a big ball of energy, you need to talk to the person that we are trying to lure into the room right now. His name is Jason Garris, and he is actually the creator of Next Review and the Next Sale app, which is an incredibly powerful tool for dealerships to put in the hands of their.
I just sent you Messenger, my friend.
Salespeople.
Jump on.
You definitely want to get you some of that and know what that's about. Because if you want them to be socially active and produce from the huge pool of social world that there is, you might want to listen to Jason.
Oh my goodness, because there's so much out there. Folks, don't limit yourself to your small town, your big town. Limit yourself to the world. Why? Why not? It's out there because right now, within a second, you could talk to somebody in Australia and be live with them.
Where?
Down under.
Down under.
Down under.
They feel like they only drive Subarus.
No, they drive, dude. We looked this up. Remember,
And
on one of our
Rovers.
early shows, we looked up
we
like
did.
top like cars sold in each
We
country,
did.
and I think for some reason it was some weird Ford car that was sold in Australia. It was a
Oh.
Ford car that we did not,
We don't get.
we do not get in the United
And
States.
it was similar to a Fusion /
something ugly. But
yes, Fusion Focus.
it was, but
something
anyway,
in
but
between
it was
there.
the number one selling car
You
there,
can
so it was crazy.
consider that.
And it was really neat to see like how Ford really is worldwide. They have a lot of cars that are in weird spots that are like the number. Imagine their, like their Fiesta being such a small car in Europe. That's like a big deal, and people love that car. And it's easy to get around town. You can park a Simper. You can drive through the small towns and the small roads.
The Fiesta made it on one of the lists. The Fiesta made it on one of the lists too.
Fiesta
Forever. We played the song and everything. Go back and listen, guys. This is some
Me
really
too,
good
man.
stuff
We really
that's
just
out there. That
we
was
really just
fun.
dropped.
You need some fun. Go listen to any bit of some Car Guy Coffee podcast, and I assure you, you'll get a giggle. And
Oh man,
sometimes that's all you need
that's some classics, man.
to just know that that everything's going to be okay.
It was a lot of fun, and we're still having fun doing it. And I'm looking forward to, man. I almost think that after this series is over, we're just gonna just tell you like the next like month's lineup, just give it to you guys, so you guys have something to look forward to, and understand that at the end of every show,
There's so many great.
Oh my god,
So much
we have some
great stuff coming.
You
I
don't even
you
know.
guys don't even know. And we've have so much stuff that we're
I don't
kind of
know.
just brewing and keeping. And
It's
like
just-
Tommy
we just-
Oli's going to be with us next
right,
week.
and we don't, we want this, but dude, we're about to rise up and
Brew
make
for
it
you
grind.
all.
You know what I'm saying? And like
It's just exciting.
7 seconds. I don't know, but just saying. There's all kinds of lineups that are coming up. People don't even know. I'm just saying.
7 seconds.
You don't know, like
That's the delay.
no.
Oh, wondering.
7 seconds is a hint. Just like I said, we got to rise up and then grind. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh man, look at my arms are hands are everywhere. Holy cannoli.
He's like, hey, I'm here. That's how he sold cars, guys. I'm not playing. He didn't even realize he was knocking people out. They were just signing because they were like, what? I don't even know what happened. My face is hurting from getting slapped. I hit the sound effect button at the right time. Lou just laughs so. Oh shit, that was funny. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
I almost fell out of my chair.
That was great. Hold on. It just happened right there.
Oh man.
Booyah. What's up, folks? I know you don't know what we're laughing about, but you might if you heard it well. It was good. It was good. So, but man, Jason, I guess you're not going to be coming on. It's okay. But let's try to conversate after this is done.
Yes. Let us converse.
Man.
Hey, seriously silly. We're just excited to share some great fun with you all. And just being our genuine self. You do the same thing wherever it is that you are. Be an encouragement, upshift and uplift your world, and take it to go cup of Car Guy Coffee. It's definitely something that you want to be brewing. Wherever you go, you want to be brewing solutions. This has been brought to you by Think Ad Group. And you can get information from the Think Ad Group and the incredible team that they are by going to thinkadgroup.com. Man, click on some links on there. See their testimonials. They have a lot of customers out there that are doing some big things. I'm going to give you guys one of their customers, and if you're on the East Coast, you know who I'm talking about. He was just featured in the Wall Street Journal. What?
Mr. Rudy Treminio El Patron. So I'm going to tell you something, guys. That's one of their clients, and he helped them quite a bit during this time. And Rudy is not one to tell you anything. You'll see him featured. If you watch a lot of his videos recently, he's wearing Think across his chest just like we are, because that's how dope Think Ad Group is, guys. Make sure you guys understand that. So get with them.
If that's what he's using to change the game, do you think you should do just check them out a little bit?
Oh,
Just saying, just an idea. It might be smart of you, right? like having the smart payment plan inside of your dealership and helping your customers that way. Plan that really helps your people out.
It is going to be a big weekend because it's always a big weekend. And here's the deal, JR, let me tell you something, brother.
Set the expectation.
Let me tell you, big weekends is all a mindset, right? It really is. You got to have the right mindset to sell big numbers, right? So if you have that mindset, it's possible. Without that mindset, you'll never sell big numbers. So always have that mindset. Now, here's the other side of it. Here's the flip side of it. Even with that mindset is not a guarantee that you're going to sell a lot of cars that weekend. But that's okay. Here's why the mindset works. Because you had that mindset, you're setting yourself up and you're still in constant growth mode. So whether you had a good Saturday and a Friday or not, you were working those 2 days, which means those 2 days worth of work are going to amount to something later. It builds up like a big snowball that's rolling down a hill that keeps collecting more snow. And eventually that snowball is going to be big enough to where you can just knock a whole building down and you're going to just get everything you want. Knock a bank down, get up in that little safe and get everything you need. You know what I mean? So just remember that. So I absolutely love it. Speak it into existence. But even if you don't have the big numbers, it's still a huge weekend. Just remember that. Work hard. Don't forget it and keep growing.
Whoa. Make sure that you're celebrating all of the victories, the little victories. Celebrating the tackles to the touchdowns becomes what makes a successful, constantly winning career.
Yes.
If you're celebrating every first down,
check your messenger, Jason.
Every advancement forward, there's a hand clap, there's a attaboy, there's a go get it, right? If you're able to find that inside of you to continue celebrating the things that you're doing successful, you become somewhat addicted to constantly doing what lifts you up. It doesn't matter if you're working out in the gym or you drink a lot of coffee, you become addicted to what gives you the boost, that adrenaline, right? Yes. So that's the great magic that's inside of this business, is that you're really made for this when you have that high of working that deal, coming to the close, coming to all of the elements being fit together right, and then the completion of the sale, the delivery, all of that happening. It takes you on this incredible ride that if you don't get that, you might need to seek a different career, because that is a natural thing that you should enjoy no matter what side of the sphere you're on. And putting that deal together, that's the victory that we all should share. That's the passion that we should have, is making that transaction happen, big or small. That being an element that you utilize inside of your career is something that you want in every relationship that you have. So I just encourage you all to listen to people that are taking all of the tools that are available to you and putting them together to make a dealership be successful, one person at a time, because we need to build up each other. Use all of the tools that we have to build up individuals, because individuals is what builds a community, right? Individuals build families, families build a community, and communities build nations. Okay. And that's ultimately what we are, is a big family.
This is a family, man.
Is trying to make sure that people are riding in what they need to, and the people that are the merchandisers of that are getting paid well to do so, as they should, as everybody should. Everybody should be taken care of, and a worker is worthy of their wages. So do what it is that you do best. And we encourage you that if you don't have a way to pick you up, well, forgive Focus Fly, drink some Car Guy coffee, and listen to any of the people that have been on our podcast.
Jason's about to come on.
If you want to listen, if you want to grow, listen to them. Don't listen to me. I may annoy you. It's okay.
It's okay. That's why we bring on guests. Here's the deal. We bring on different guests from different parts of the country, different parts of the car business, different levels of experience in the car business. But here's one thing every one of them has in common. One thing. They actually have a lot of things in common, but there's one thing that sticks out to me, is that they're always trying to get to the next level no matter how far they've come. They don't believe that this is it. They believe there's more out there. Second thing they have in common is they take massive action. Massive action every time that it's time for them to get to the next level. They don't just sit there and go, man, I hope I get there. They make it happen every single day. even if it's just 1%, they're doing something that day to get to that next level.
Mm.
Get to that next level. Don't sit around and wait for that next level, because it's never going to come, guys. It's never going to come.
But it's not coming to you.
No,
you got to go to
yep.
it, right? This isn't an escalator. You know, these steps of life are secure. This mountain is exactly where it is. You know what I mean? And it's your job to overcome it. And if it doesn't pick itself and move itself out of your way, well, then you're going to have to get it behind you one step at a time. And that could be around it, that can be over it. Or if you're forgiving and focusing, you could possibly fly right over it. But it's definitely going to take something to upshift and uplift you. And we highly recommend Car Guy Coffee.
Yeah.
Get you some.
I mean,
have some fun.
It's delicious. It's my favorite.
It is my favorite coffee.
No,
There's some great car guys that are brewing some stuff, and they're brewing it with us here. So come and get you some of that. Jason should be jumping in here.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jason is connected to more coffee. Oh, some of the strongest coffee that there is, from what I hear. Man, it's just great to be connected to some great people.
No, it has been, and the thing is, like, what we want to do with what we're doing now, it's so many things are changing. We're constantly finding things that are different, and things that we're more excited about. And, we're still excited about all this, and it's all of it. This is the center of it all, right? This is us, what we're growing. And because of this growth, we're starting to realize that we want other parts of this piece of this pie to make it better. We want to add another topping to the pizza, right? And
I love pizza.
I know. I had some dinner tonight. So we want to make sure that everything is right. We're making it just the right specialty pizza, right? And we're real excited about it. And the people that we've met are really what's been the best ingredient.
Authentic.
It really, we've had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with the first 10 episodes. We really learned a lot about us. You guys got to learn about us. That's why it's really good to go back and listen to those, because if you really want to know who we are instead of who our guests are, that's how you find out about us. After the first 10 episodes, it's all about our guests. So it's been a lot of fun. These shows here, we get to talk about our days, our weeks, our kids, our families. But like our podcast, the one that we put out there for everybody to listen to all the time, I guess we do with this too, but it's out there that, with this podcast, it's all about our guests, and these guests are for you. These are people that I know are being watched and listened to by you guys all the time. I'm sure you wanted to hear questions that weren't ever asked before, or what, how they got to something, or whatever the situation that you want to hear about these guests. What you need to start doing, and this is why I think we need to start releasing who we're dropping, so people we can have it out there for people to
giving them a forewarning,
like what kind of questions. Also, what they can give us ideas for questions. Ooh. We can say, hey, your question could be featured on our show. We're getting, because we are going to be interviewing Glenn Lundy. I'm not going to spill the beans. Ooh. Oh, I did. Well, during that interview, I'm sure there's a question somebody wants to know. Yes. We may have a chance for you to win. All you have to do is put that in. We'll bring that up some more as the week comes around to that. That's still a little bit in the makings, but it's done. So we're doing that. I have Frank Lopez. That's the 7-second. That's what the jump. I have him coming on the show. We were going to interview him tonight, but we had to reschedule. I'm doing that next week. So awesome. That's going to be a good one. That dude is full of energy, and he's got a lot of great ideas too. He's an author himself. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to read his book, but I did read Glenn's the Morning Five, and man, it's a great book actually. It's all online. He sends it to you digitally for free. Doesn't even charge you for it. And I'm sure it went into a funnel, but I didn't get stuck into that. I just got that. And it was good. It was a good read. I read it. Made a lot of sense, and kind of gave you a little history about him. So I kind of know Glenn a little bit deeper about where he came from, how he grew up, how he came up in the business. But no, man, very, very cool story. I got to read a few books now. I've read El Patron. I've read more stories about car guys than I have other types of books, I think. But he's a good dude, man, and I'm excited to have him on the show. He's one of the hardest working guys out there. I thought I worked hard, but I think that dude works harder than me for real. I can't say he doesn't, because he's everywhere all the time.
One thing that he is for so many is an inspiration, and he is consistently and constantly making sure to challenge people to feel something and be someone that elevates themselves on all aspects of who it is that they are, from the soul, the spirit man to the professional. He is there to help make sure that you rise and grind it out. He definitely is a
Grizzle,
believer.
grizzle.
He is Car Guy Coffee approved in
He is,
every
man.
way. He has been an inspiration to us in
We've
helping
rocked his
us
shirt on our show, the Rise and Grind.
yeah, to be
It's dope.
better at what it is that we do, and how to do things effectively and
Lit up.
communicate properly, and
Yep.
to it's okay to constantly be positive and be a car guy, right? To see that there's others out there that are doing that, because a lot of times we're the most pumped up in the room, and we're always looking for another.
But he's there.
happy-
He's
happy
just like
one
us.
out there,
He's one of
you
those
know?
guys who he would fit right in with our show, just like I'm sure I fit in with his show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Anyway, guess who's here, folks? A 3, 2, and boom!
Oh,
Nice shirt, buddy.
You put a headset on this now.
Oh, there it is.
Hold on 1 second. There he
What
is.
is up? Look at you with the wardrobe looking right.
oh yeah. I keep growing.
Keep growing. That's right.
I keep growing.
That's
yeah,
right.
I keep growing old.
As we
What's
call
going
it.
on tonight, my man?
What is happening?
Well, the sound didn't come on, so I couldn't hear you. So
Yeah,
I didn't hear.
we messed around with our mics a little bit. I think there was something not connected right, so we fixed it. Appreciate that.
So then I didn't hear you, and then I said, you know what? I'm gonna get out of bed. I'm gonna get over this camera. I'm gonna get on this show because I gotta liven this thing up a little bit. You know? Yeah.
We appreciate it. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
We're
so-
so excited to have you in the cafe. Welcome. Those of you that don't know, this right here is Jason Garris, the one, the only, the inventor of the most powerful app for the car business. And he is right here to answer questions and just help motivate you that you can do what you're called to do.
Captain Nexel himself.
Man, here he is, Captain Nexel. Oh, he is. There it is. His little friend.
Man.
So excited.
Man,
to
we've
have
been,
you.
we've been having a pretty good week, man. We're at the dealership. We've been moving some metal. I know that El Patron, Brody's been having a hell
he's
of a
been
freaking
doing
week
it.
too. He's
Yep.
been killing it,
That's
which is
victory.
awesome. How's everything been going with you? Look like you had a great weekend on 4th of July weekend, man.
I drove to Long Island to visit El Patron this weekend, and it was a fabulous weekend at his home. We were able to take a ride in that beautiful McLaren there and drive that around. That was fun. It was fun to visit with his family. He has a beautiful backyard, pleasant to hang out in. And so we relaxed. At one point, we fell asleep on the lawn chairs, and we actually were snoring for about an hour and a half. We missed dinner. I will say that once again about El Patron, again, here's the guy that gets home at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night because he's got a long day, and then also gets up really early in the morning to go into work. And so you talk about grinding, and here like you guys are, it's a 1 o'clock in the morning, and we know we got to get up at 8, 9 and be at work. I mean, so you could just go to bed at 9, 10, and 11, or whatever time you want to go to bed or you could take that step and what you're doing and just go above and beyond and try to better yourselves and better other people and maybe not everyone's going to stay up this late, but they might catch it the next day, which is fine.
Right.
And that's the importance of everybody. That's the importance of the share. That button means so much. That share button, it means so much. If you hit that button, it doesn't mean you have to hit it tonight because you're probably sleeping right now, a lot of you. But when you do get to hit that during the day tomorrow, the only thing they're asking of anybody is the word share. So that said, it was a wonderful weekend with El Patron. His family is beautiful. The culture was beautiful. The food was incredible.
Oh, I bet.
Um,
Oh man. Yep.
and the city, going down the city was a little risky, because we were worried, being in upstate, the coronavirus isn't a major, it is a major deal, but once you go south and headed towards that city, you're you're more susceptible to the coronavirus, obviously, because you're, you know, in the area where everyone seems to be getting it. Um, that said, what we go into, I'm hearing a lot of people saying they're having a record month. I'm sure you've heard that from a lot of people. There's a lot of people buying. You remember that there's a lot of people been cooped up for a while now,
Oh yeah.
and so that that being cooped up in general, um, it makes people spend anyway. I mean, people naturally have a tendency of spending their money, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's amazing. Um, saving saving is a difficult, very difficult um, task for almost anybody. If you ask anybody to save or to harvest or do any of that stuff, that's the hardest things to do. People love to spend. It's so easy to spend a dime here and a dime there. And so, with the coronavirus that we just got hit with,
Right.
um, everybody is spending right now, and it's the only thing they can do. I mean, if you really think about it, they're at home, and it's getting easier for people to get on that computer and hit the button. And I can't believe in 1 week how much stuff you know I ordered, and I've never. Yeah, I it's a horrible task. Like I said, yeah, and I'm one of those people. And yeah, so the internet is going to be it. It's the new way, man. We're going this way, man, and
Yeah.
we're going to. So it just proves that. I'll tell you how I know. I have never seen a UPS truck so packed ever, and I've never seen my building packed with packages. I mean, where they put the packages, they have this building set up for packages, and everyone's packages are mixed up. But when I open the door, it looks like Christmas is happening in in this thing, and even the the mail lady the mail lady is overloaded with packages too. She said, "I'm not just delivering mail. I'm delivering everything now." I'm like, "Oh my god!" So the internet. What are we talking about the internet? And everyone's talking about how great they're doing is because um, it's the internet. It is the internet. I'm going to go and I said it again, and everyone's breaking out of their shell. They're hitting the button. They know about the great deals they can get on brand new cars right now. They're not stupid. They know the factories are suffering. They know they're going to get and they know that car dealers right now, this is the time to buy, in their minds.
I
It's
also
all.
think that there was a big bubble that has been bursted, and that bubble is something that's noticed in major metro areas, because of the public transportation um, exodus that's occurring of people not wanting to be around that many people or have to take the transportation that makes you have to be touching, being around, trusting somebody else to keep something clean and safe for you. The people that are no longer wanting to jump on a bus are going to get a car to protect themselves, right? There is a complete shift of how people are getting where they are in major metro areas. That's why if you start to like watch a map, if we were watching this big CSI map or something of where people are bursting with this influx of record number of cars, it's in areas that there is also a high population of those that get a major
Coronavirus
a
risk.
major amount of people moving in public transportation. They're having to make a shift. So because of that protection inside of them, they're jumping into the car market to trust themselves where it is that they go. And I think that there's, again, that's a bubble that's been bursting. There's a huge market share that just got shifted.
Everything.
You know what I mean? In those areas, especially New York is going to feel something like that, where they're not going to flood the subway to be standing, this close to somebody, and you're not avoiding. And if you've ever been on the subway in New York during most hours, you're going to probably touch somebody unless it's the red eye moments of the night. You know what I mean? You're going to be touching somebody, and people don't want that. They don't want that anymore.
Nobody wants that anymore right now. Not right now. Not at all. It's like totally like.
But they got to get to work, so they got to go get a car. You know what I mean? They have to go get a car. So I think that's a big piece of what's happening in those areas as well. That may not be spoken about too much, but I think we may hear about that in some future reports of the amount of people that have changed their mode of transportation.
Gentlemen, real quick on a lighter note, look how dope we look in our Keep Growing shirts. I mean,
and man, like we
are
each other.
I need to sit where Lou's at so we can look like an Oreo.
Yeah, we can. Oh snap!
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, this is awesome. No, man, Jason, I miss you, man. It's those pictures of you guys up there. It's my favorite. One of my favorite things was the one you guys sleeping together, looking all cutesy bootsy. But what was really funny was the one in the hot tub. That video that was pretty classic, bro.
Well, because here's what happened. We got in. We got in the hot tub. I'm not going to blow in here. We was just sitting there, and all of a sudden, before you know it, we both jumped in the hot tub, and now we look silly in the hot tub because now we're alone in there. But I had to tell people that there was other people in there, but there was nobody in there. It was just me and El Patron in the hot tub, but we were laughing because we had people outside the hot tub laughing, and the kids were running around, and and of course we look silly in the hot tub, of course, and El Patron in his hairy chest and my hairy chest. It doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good in the hot tub, and it doesn't look good when two guys are just talking about
floating.
Floating on top. The hair's floating. The hair was floating like on the water, and and the more I thought about it, because we were live, it was actually super funny. He is funny, because, and by the way, most of my live videos I've ever done, I used to do like live videos in Florida, and every time I was in the hot tub or a pool, that I get some crazy amount of people would pop in. I don't know whether they want to see me naked or what they want to see, but it seemed if I had my shirt off, I would get more views, and people would say, "Put my clothes back on." But in that said, they would ask me to do silly things at the pool. They would tell me to do a belly flop. They would ask me to jump in the pool and do a belly flop. So I'd go live. Yeah, I'd hold the camera. I'd set it up, and I'd actually do it for my audience. I'd slam it.
That's so awesome.
Jump in and forgive and forget, focus and fly. Okay. So, I will tell you that keep in mind too that remember that winter. We had a long winter too. You know what I mean? So what I mean by that is it was a long, draining winter, and remember that every spring is always the start of the buying season. I mean, as a matter of fact. So remember that
all those things are still happening. That's true.
Remember that never went away. It never went away. I mean, people had their money saved for that rainy day. That by the way, it was also tax season, wasn't it? Didn't people do their taxes and maybe they get some of their taxes back? They've been waiting to spend their money.
Yeah,
we only got like half the tax season this year in the car business. We usually, especially in the subprime business, tax season is amazing because it helps them so much.
Yeah, so you can only imagine that, and naturally, people are shopping heavy right now, and it's not just the car market. it's almost in the market. And I was talking to a restaurant today about how they're doing and how they're making it, and they're doing a lot of people calling up. They order online and they'll pick that curbside pickup. So
Mm-hmm.
they said they doubled their business
Whoa.
with the curbside pickup. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, how'd you double your business with curbside pickup? And how do you do it? And again, we're going to go back to, I think people are starting to realize that the easier you make it, the easier the I'm telling you what it's coming to. It's coming to this. How easy can you make it for me?
Hmm.
And that's what the new thing is. How easy can you make it for me? Not how great you could do it, but how
Mm-hmm.
easy is it? Can you do it? I mean, how
Right.
easy? I mean, can I just pull up and just get my car and leave? Or am I going to sit there for 3 hours like we did in the past? And we're going to sit there and you're going to pull out the four square and we're going to go back and forth with my trade. We're going to hang out with this. So what are we going to do? Are you going to do the old school or are you going new school? And,
Mm-hmm.
and so everybody look at LinkedIn is filled with people who have the answer. Everybody has the answer, and in a good way. Like in other words, there's a lot of people that really know different things, and everyone has great ideas and good thoughts. And but if you sit back for 1 minute and think, nobody ever does it alone. Like in other words, if a store does very well, that it wasn't just the guy that the taking the credit. It was the team that did it.
That's right.
It always was the team,
That's
always
right.
will be the team that does it.
100%.
That's
100%.
100.
that's why you guys that's why I love you guys so much, because you talk about what I talked about was the team, the people, getting them going, and and that's really critical. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the team, and that team is so, that's what's going to make those cars sell. That's what's going to make the energy go. That's what's going to make the people from online come in. That's how they're going to get the word out. And that's how it all happens. It happens through energy of people. It's the energy. You know it's like, you ever been to somebody next to somebody that's really quiet, and you're sitting there and it's like a boring, it's not live, but you get somebody
Mm-hmm.
that's excited about the job, and or how about the school teacher? Do you remember that school teacher that one class, maybe that one or two classes a day, that you had a great teacher that was so into their job, they loved it. You can tell they
Mm-hmm.
loved it because they were like, "Hey, Louis, Fred, 2 plus 2, what do you got? What do you got?
Mm-hmm.
4, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Fred, what do you got? 4 plus 4 is what? Come on, hit it up, hit it
Hey,
up.
hey, hey,
Mm-hmm.
hey.
Come on.
Okay, good. All
Yeah.
right, now, but that's the energy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the energy that is kids embrace, and we embrace it.
Right.
We embrace it. We need the energy. We're still kids. Listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
We're just older kids. That's all we are. We have to play responsibility.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got to be. It's time for us to be mature, but we're not, because you know it and I know it, that once we get out of our clothes and out of these shirts and we go back and we hang out, we know with our families, we are probably the silliest dudes that ever came to earth. I mean, because,
So
right?
true.
And
So true.
it is because it is. We become we become who we are with our family. We become who we are, and we're true to our family, and that's why they love, and that's why so again, customers,
Hmm.
come true to who you are with them. Have If you really are a salesman, if you're really good, you'll
Mm-hmm.
be able to be true to who you are and watch the customer embrace who you, and watch the customer buy that day. It's not hard. rocket science. This isn't. This wasn't.
Right.
This is. Let's not reinvent the wheel.
Right. Please, let's
Not
cut
reinvent the wheel.
anything that's a frill out of it. This needs to be an organic brew that you have inside of your approach to the car business. It is always going to be easier for you to do it if it's authentic and you use the right beans.
No doubt.
But everybody's brew is different. So it's key that you figure that out and you stick to it, and you have people that you can look to help you better craft what it is that you have your hands on, which is a very promising career in a great business that can take you to whatever heights you want to go to, if you just believe that you can go to that next level and you trust the direction that you're given to go where it is that you want to go. And it takes you having a keen eye on achieving what it is that you're truly focused on. And one thing that is easy to get in the car business is distracted. Okay. So it's so important that you don't get distracted by your losses or your successes.
Absolutely.
Both can be distracting.
Extremely. I know people who get great checks and they lay down the second half of the month.
Focused.
It's unreal. The key to this business is to keep growing, right? It's always looking for the next sale, right? So you always want to look for that next sale.
100%.
So that's why Jason's app, guys, we're getting, not to cut what we're talking about, but Jason's app is absolutely golden. It's one of those apps that if you're a salesperson and you need a little bit of edge just to get yourself going, there you are. If you're looking for something that you're missing, he has it. I mean, I love your app, and I think that it's great. I really love everything that you're about, Jason. Always have since we started talking with you. You've always been a lot of fun to talk with. I mean, these conversations we have, they're enlightening, and they last for a long time and it's not because you're long-winded, we're long-winded, which we are, but it's because we enjoy it. We have fun, and they're authentic and they're real. Like everything you just talked about. Everyone, if you're listening and you hear this later and you're hearing it now, understand what he's saying is from the heart, just like we are. And that's why we all get along so well, is because we talk about what we really feel, what's truth out there. And that's the key. Everything we're talking about is just truth. When you deal with your customers and you give them truth, they appreciate that. The truth. It's facts, though. It's all it is.
But I mean, you just dealt with Katie Marys a few weeks ago, and talking about how women be treated in the car business. I mean, I knew that years ago. I mean, I knew, what you don't go to a woman, hey, this is the wiper blades and this is the side view mirror. You know what I mean? There's you got to be real careful. I mean, listen, but you always had to be, but wait a minute, you always had to be careful, man. Yes. You always had to be careful. I don't understand why you weren't careful when you went to work too. I mean, when you wanted to go out with a girl and you wanted to hook up and you wanted to get married and you wanted to do all these things, you had to be careful, man. You had to be. And that was the only way you made it to get where you are. And even today, you still got to be careful. I mean, because again, it's so easy to slip. And women in general, they're not dummies. As a matter of fact, they're smarter than we are. And by the way, I can tell you right now,
9 times out of 10 they are, no doubt.
Oh my God! Listen, I'm sorry, man, but let me tell you something. You lay down and deliver a baby, and I'm telling you right now,
nope.
That's why so little impresses them, because they're like, that's cool. I squeezed out a human.
I put a baby inside my body and it came out. Thank you. What did you do?
What?
Next. You want to know?
Not impressed.
Look,
not impressed.
So we talked about the other day. I was telling you guys about foundation, and I was telling you about what it really means about foundation, about my dog. I always post about my dog. Now, the reason I post about my dog, Karma, is not because I want to talk about my dog. Do you know my dog is on social media now? And I posted a video with her the other day. It got 1,000 people liked it and commented. And it was a beautiful post on my dog. So my dog is a highly trained Rottweiler. I am not a professional dog trainer, but I did do the dog training of that dog. That dog does everything I ask it to do. When I ask it to do it, it does it immediately without blinking an eye. I mean, this dog is unbelievable. And so why am I talking about that? It's because it's amazing.
Love dogs.
Because I took that dog and I made it do what I wanted it to do so that if I get older, it's a Rottweiler. And so if that dog ever gets older and it's going to get bigger and stronger, I want to be the one in command of that dog at all times. I do not want it to get out of control. And I want it to be in that's it. I want to be the one to say, sit down, stay, heel, come, let's go. You know what I mean? I want to be able to make it. Listen, and the same thing in business. Sit down, stay, come. Whatever I ask you to do, you're just going to do it. And that's the way that the new world has to be with the bosses that are willing to, that when you come into my business and I ask you to do those things, you're going to do it immediately without asking any questions at all. If I say I need 30 reviews, I need 30 reviews. If I say I want a thank you video for every customer that comes in, I want it. I'm not asking for it. I'm going to get it. If I want it, I'm going to get it. I own the business. My name, it should be a 4.9 on Google. It better be a 4.9. If it's any less than 4.9, if it's any less than 4.9, I promise you guys, before we go selling tomorrow, I'm going to shut the store down, okay? And we will not open this dealership until we are a 4.9. I promise you, we will not open the deal because I know that the higher the rating, the more people that come in. So what are we doing? So you make him do that 4.9. You make him do it so he get those. Now listen, I'll tell you this. I'm a hunter, and I talk about hunting. So remember we talked about hunting and harvesting, right? Well, so this is first place. Okay. By the way, don't worry about it, buddy. Listen, this is first place. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see, but again. You wouldn't believe it. One trophy after another. But listen, I got them just like my awards. And I'm telling you something. You put that bow and arrow in my hand. You put that. That's awesome. You put that bow and arrow in my hand. Okay, and I promise you, at 40 yards away, I'm gonna hit your eyeball. Okay, but let me explain what that meant. Before I'm going to go.
That was a little country right there. He said,
well, let me tell you.
Man.
I hit you in your eyeball. Explain
that eyeball, right square in the eye. Sorry.
Exactly. But let me explain why. Because before I shoot an animal or draw back and take a shot of taking one of God's creatures, and actually you're going to do two things. You're going to hit it. You're going to lay it down and let it die so that, when you go to kill it, it's going to be a clean kill. And you're going to wind up, believe it or not, if you read about these stuff is, you want that food, obviously. You want the meat and you're going to store it. We eat it. We eat all of it. Steaks. We get steaks for a year out of there. And, but what am I saying it for? Because when I go to draw back, right? I'm going to make sure that animal is going down. I'm not going to take a chance. And we are not going to take chances in business. We will make the animal go down. But wait a minute. Before we make the animal go down, we have to plant the corn. We have to plant the food. We have to get the animals to come in. When the does come in, right? Well, then the bucks will follow.
Oh, yeah.
Then we also know what time that they're coming. We know exactly where they're coming, how they're coming, because they live in they have a routine. And once we figure out the routine and we know their trails and they have their normal, right? So people have the same damn thing.
Yep.
Pay attention. We live on routine. You figure out a human's routine. You harvest, you practice, you do all these things, and the outcome can only be that you will eat like a king, and you will eat, and not only that, but you will have plenty to harvest with because you've done all your research and homework and all those things. Listen, this is irrelevant but relevant to what we do in the
100%.
car business. It
100%.
absolutely. And what you said the other day, I watched your video about how we bear fruit, the vines, how they vines cover up another vine, and boy, that vine looks like the same vine as that vine. And I'm pulling that vine up. I did that once. I had that stupid vine that was going around and it looked like it was going around the whole pine tree, climbing up, and it looked like it belonged there. It didn't belong there. It was just choking the. It was just choking the pine tree. All right, and so the key, like you said, get rid of all that negativity. Anybody in your way, practice, harvest, get ready to treat these people great. Get ready to do the best you can ever do in your whole life, and get ready to have a wonderful day. How do you know? And how do you have that wonderful day? Is like all the things you're talking about every single day. How do you do it? We don't need to be reminded that when you wake up in the morning, we all know that the first few minutes of the day is how your day is going to turn out. But guess what? If that's the case, we need to, as bosses and managers in the morning, need to know what's in the head of our employees before we shoot. Because if we don't know what's in the head, you're all over the place, and before you know it. But we want to make sure that every guy, every salesman pulls that trigger, right? And follows through, because just like anything else, I don't know if you've ever shot anything in life. You got to hold it, and you've got to stay still
the whole time, even when you have to
release.
Even when you shoot a gun, you got to stay still.
You've got to stay. You've got to stay still, and you got to wait until the shot's been fired. And same thing with sales, man.
Man, I agree.
You've got to stay still, and you got to follow through the whole line.
No doubt.
And right to the end, and then after you shoot it, then you've got to go take care of it. And and that's what we're forgetting to do.
Yeah, I agree.
We're just forgetting to take care of the people.
I agree. I actually had a quick brew about that the other day. My quick brew was about keeping your eye on sight when you're always on target. Because when you don't have a target to aim at, you're just shooting blindly in the dark. You're missing everything. You're never going to hit a target. You're never going to be on bullseye. You always have to keep your eye on the prize. Even if things get in the way, you may have to still be there. Just like you're talking about hunting. I love it, man. It's like when you're hunting. I'm a hunter myself, man. And I believe that the way you're talking about it doesn't just apply to sales. It applies to life. When it comes to when you meet somebody, it's all about it's like when you go somewhere, it's all about timing. It's all about knowing when the herd comes into that area, right? You understand when you're trying to find the right type of animal, like you're always doing the right thing to get to where you need to be, even when you're choosing your friends. You just know that, like, people go to college because they want to get connected with the right people who are on the same wavelength as them, people who are trying to go places and get further in their life. People choose the car business in a lot of ways for the same thing. They get into the business because they're trying to choose those. So you go, that's the place to hunt. I'm going to hunt at college. I'm going to hunt here. I'm going to hunt where I need to hunt. I'm going to get there. I'm going to put my harvest down. I'm going to put my corn down. I'm going to do what it needs. And I'm going to know it, grow it, and sow it. Right. So I'm going to do those things there. But yeah, it's absolutely, you have to, like when you're talking about like pulling back a bow, when you're sitting there, and you have to, not only do you have to
so much in
be on target when you pull a trigger, but you have to keep yourself and your eye on target even as the arrow goes through,
all the way through.
Even if you jerk your arm a little bit, it's going to go left. You jerk it.
Yep.
I mean, you're 1/4 of an inch goes 3 feet to the left.
23 feet.
Right. So you have to be so delicate and so still and just so confident, contagiously confident, man.
Yeah, and the confidence is all the hours and hours of practice before. The confidence comes when you practice so much that you go up in that tree and that like, again, when you go to pull back, you're staring down that target. You're staring it down so much, and you're not just looking at the animal. You that animal you don't even see. Believe it or not, when you take a shot at something, you don't even see the person or the figure anymore. You're aiming at such that one spot.
I agree. Yes.
You really don't even see the person.
Nope.
I don't. I'm not saying I shot anybody, but not lately. Yeah.
I'm just saying, forget about it.
Yeah. I forget about it. Yeah. Let's talk about something else. No, I'm only kidding.
I love it, man. That's awesome. But no, I know exactly what you're saying. When you're looking down that site and you're looking at your target, even when you're looking at a paper target, it's no longer that target anymore. It's that specific spot. It's that moment of where you need to hit it. Like when you're aiming at a deer, you know where the vital organs are. And you know exactly when you shoot an arrow, like you said, you don't want to hurt the animal and just cause it pain and it runs off. You want to make sure you take the animal down. So making sure your target is exactly where you need it to be, making sure that you've practiced enough, you are confident enough to know with your sales skills, when you're out there talking to a client, not only are you telling truth, but you're able to give them knowledgeable truth. You're able to give them educated practice over and over. I know what I'm doing truth. You know what I mean? I've been doing this so long, folks, trust me, I can guide you through this purchase. No problem. You know,
well, I brought that up for the reason of this. I am sick and tired, which I am, and that's why I got out of the business, in the car business. And just in general, just think how many people, what we call broom somebody, or they treat somebody, they mistreat people, or they don't take the time with them. And they look back and they say, Jason, how did you sell that car? And I'm like, what do you mean? Did you see them laugh? Did you see them have a good time? Did you see when they left? And then wait a minute. And then when your customer left, I didn't see them laughing. I saw them miserable when they left. And they don't realize that half these people are leaving not happy. You think that they're happy. That means that you target.
They don't know your name and they hate your guts.
Well, what you did was you fired the arrow, and what you did was you pained the customer. You did not hit it. You did not hit the target. And
why?
That's
why? Because you didn't penetrate the heart.
You did not penetrate the heart.
Damn it. That is so good. I love it. Boom. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's Brewing Solutions, folks. You
Man,
listening
folks,
to this? Are you listening?
Oh my God, this is golden stuff here, folks.
Rewind. Listen to that again.
I'm telling you, man. Jason, it's always great talking with you, bro. It always is.
Let's talk some more. Car guys and car gals, we are going to go ahead and cut this live for a little bit, and we are going to get ready to launch. We're going to hang out with Jason here for a little bit, but you all do what it is that you do. Jason, since you're in the cafe, let's go ahead and do what we do, and let's get ready to forgive, focus, and fly together, because we have an entire other piece of the brew coming from Melanie Borden this week on the Fast Trackers, and we are getting ready to jump to the next level. Did I say next?
Next.
You said next. I like that. I love it.
Next.
I love it.
Folks, it's really important that you go check out the brew that Jason Garris is on. There's so much, there's a wealth of knowledge that entire week. He was the first one that pushed the envelope to making us have to pour out.
We had to pour out a week's worth of, like, not just a couple days in that week. It was every day. That's how much knowledge is on there.
Listen to this.
You heard what you just heard.
Listen to him.
There you go.
I'm excited to come and fly and see you guys. Matter of fact, the airports are getting ready to open, and I'm booking my ticket. So
you heard it, folks. He's gonna fly to
Kentucky.
Oh so my let's God. Get ready to do it.
I'm flying. I got to get to Kentucky.
All right. Well, let's do this right now. We're gonna start the flight right here, right now. This is Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
This is Fred Lenoir, the subprime hero,
and we are with Jason Garris and also the man behind the mask of Captain Nixale. So we are going to get focused, fly on 3. 1, 2, 3. Forgive. Focus. Fly. That's right. Car guys and car gals, enjoy the video while we.
All right, folks. We will see y'all later. Thank y'all for coming on. Jason, hang on for a second. We'll talk a little bit more. But
You
guys,
got it.
y'all, guys, gals, everyone
We'll
out
get
there.
you some of the brew.
That's right. Forgive,
We're
focus,
excited.
fly. Keep
Keep
growing.
growing.
That's right.
Keep growing. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Go